What if I told you there is one simple drink that can change everything? How firm you feel, how confident you are, how alive your body becomes in just 60 minutes. Most men over 50 think their problem is age, that this is simply how things are now, that the clock has run out. But I am here to tell you, directly and without exaggeration, that is not true. The real issue is not age. It is blood flow. And the difference between those two explanations changes everything about what you can do next. Your veins are not dead. They are not worn out beyond recovery. They are waiting for the right signal to open again. And there is one drink sitting in your grocery store right now that can prompt your blood vessels to expand dramatically, naturally, without pharmaceutical intervention, without side effects, and without a prescription. This is what men in their 60s and 70s are using today to reclaim their confidence and their performance. And it begins working within a single hour. My name is Dr. Daniel Morgan. I am a board-certified urologist, and I have spent more than 20 years helping men restore performance and vitality without defaulting to drugs as a first solution. In that time, I have seen what actually moves the needle for men over 50. And today I am going to show you exactly what these drinks are, how they work inside your body at a biological level, and how you can build them into a practical daily routine that brings back the strength and stamina you thought were permanently behind you. Because here is what I have learned after 2 decades in this field. The secret to lasting male power is not found in a prescription bottle. It is hidden inside the natural chemistry of your own body. Stay with me until the end, because the most important piece comes last. Before we talk about the drinks themselves, I need you to understand what is actually happening inside your body right now. When you were younger, your arteries were wide, flexible, and highly responsive. Blood moved through them the way water moves through a brand new hose. Fast, free, unobstructed, but as the years accumulate, factors like chronic stress, excess sugar, poor sleep, and prolonged sitting gradually damage the inner lining of those arteries. That lining is called the endothelium, and it controls one absolutely critical signal, nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is essentially a biological switch. When it is active, your blood vessels open. When it is suppressed, they tighten and restrict blood flow throughout the entire body, including the tissue that matters most for male performance. That is why so many men in their 50s and 60s notice that firmness becomes less reliable, recovery slows down, and overall energy drops. Most men assume it is purely hormonal. In reality, circulation is doing most of the damage. Imagine trying to water a garden through a hose full of kinks. No matter how strong the pressure at the source, nothing flows through effectively. Your body operates on exactly that same principle. Without open, relaxed vessels, blood cannot reach the muscles, nerves, and tissues that drive performance. Here is the part that I want every man watching to hear clearly. Your body can repair this. You can retrain your arteries to open and respond again. You can restore meaningful blood flow. And it begins with what you drink, because specific natural compounds trigger nitric oxide production and instruct your arteries to relax safely, effectively, and fast. In this video, I am going to walk you through 5 powerful drinks that do exactly that. Drinks that restore circulation, increase oxygen delivery, and bring back the performance you thought was gone. One of them is so potent that it can expand vascular diameter by a significant margin within a single hour. And that is where we begin. Drink 1, beetroot juice, the nitric oxide powerhouse. This is the drink that pharmaceutical companies do not advertise. Because it works, and it costs almost nothing. Beetroot juice. It is not exotic. It is not complicated. And yet, it is one of the most well-documented natural strategies for boosting blood flow and male performance, particularly for men over 50. Here is the mechanism. Beetroot is dense with natural nitrates. When you drink it, those nitrates travel through your digestive tract into your bloodstream and are converted into nitric oxide. That is the exact molecule that instructs your arterial walls to relax and expand. When nitric oxide rises, your vessels open like a widening passage. More oxygen flows, more nutrients reach their destination. More blood arrives exactly where it needs to be for intimate performance and physical stamina. Clinical research confirms that beetroot juice can produce substantial increases in blood flow within 60 minutes of consumption. That is not marketing language. That is reproducible biology. When nitric oxide surges, the smooth muscle tissue in your blood vessel walls releases tension. Your circulation improves, firmness increases, and that underlying confidence that you may not have felt in years begins to return. Timing and dosage matter here. Drink approximately 8 to 16 ounces of pure beetroot juice, that is 250 to 500 milliliters, about 60 minutes before any physical or intimate activity. That is the window during which nitric oxide reaches peak concentration in the blood. You can juice it fresh or purchase pure, unsweetened beetroot juice at most grocery stores and health food retailers. Avoid blended products with added sugar. Sugar actively degrades the vascular benefits you are seeking. If the earthy flavor is not something you enjoy, mix it with a small amount of apple or fresh ginger juice. Keep at least 75% beetroot and you preserve the potency. Many men report feeling a warm, spreading sensation moving through the body around 45 minutes after drinking it. That is circulation activating. That is your body responding. And that is only the beginning. Drink 2, pomegranate juice, the protector. Now, let us talk about something sweet, deeply colored, and with a history in medicine stretching back thousands of years. Pomegranate juice was described in ancient Persian medicine as a tonic for strength, fertility, and endurance. Modern science has now given us the explanation for why those claims held up. Inside every glass of pure pomegranate juice are powerful plant compounds called polyphenols, particularly one known as punicalagin. Think of these compounds as a protective shield. When you drink pomegranate juice, its antioxidants travel through the bloodstream and guard nitric oxide from degradation. Because nitric oxide is fragile, the moment it encounters free radicals or inflammatory compounds, it breaks down and its vascular benefits are lost. Pomegranate steps in and blocks that breakdown. It keeps your nitric oxide active and effective for hours longer. So while beetroot juice opens your blood vessels, pomegranate juice acts as a guard, preserving that opening. The result is more sustained circulation, longer-lasting firmness, and a more consistent, intimate response. One well-known study followed men who consumed a daily glass of pomegranate juice over 4 weeks. Nearly half of the participants reported that their performance returned to levels they had not experienced in years. Many also noted a significant return of confidence. To get the full benefit, drink 8 to 10 ounces of pure, unsweetened pomegranate juice roughly an hour before intimacy. And here is an additional clinical point. When you make pomegranate juice part of your morning routine, your baseline vascular health improves over time. Each day you consume it, you are training your blood vessels to remain more open, responsive, and elastic. The benefit compounds. Drink 3, watermelon juice. The fuel source. This one surprises almost every man I bring it up with in the clinic. Watermelon, you think of it as a summer pleasure. Sweet, light, and mostly water. But inside that red flesh, and even more concentrated in the pale white rind, lives one of the most effective natural compounds available for male circulatory health. It is called citrulline. When you drink watermelon juice, your body converts citrulline into another amino acid called arginine. Arginine then drives the production of nitric oxide, the same molecule that opens your arteries and generates better, stronger, more sustained performance. Here is where it gets particularly interesting from a clinical standpoint. If you take arginine directly as a supplement, your digestive system breaks down a significant portion of it before it ever reaches the bloodstream. The effect is diluted before it starts. But citrulline from watermelon bypasses that metabolic barrier. It travels intact, is converted efficiently in the kidneys, and then delivers usable arginine throughout the body as fuel for nitric oxide production. This makes watermelon juice a more efficient delivery mechanism for nitric oxide support than most commercially available supplements. Research confirms that men who consumed watermelon juice daily saw improvements in blood flow and firmness within approximately 2 weeks of consistent use. To prepare it, blend 3 to 4 cups of fresh watermelon cubes. Include some of the white rind. That is where the citrulline concentration is highest. You will produce about 16 ounces of juice. Drink it 30 to 60 minutes before intimacy. It pairs exceptionally well with beetroot and pomegranate, because the 3 drinks target different stages of the same biological process. Beetroot initiates nitric oxide production. Pomegranate protects it. Watermelon fuels the body's ability to generate more. Three natural mechanisms working in parallel. And when you combine them deliberately, the result is something I call the triple nitric oxide booster. The triple nitric oxide booster, gentlemen, this is where everything converges. You now understand how beetroot juice activates your vessels, how pomegranate protects the nitric oxide you produce, and how watermelon gives your body the raw material to generate more. Now consider what happens when you combine all three deliberately, in the right proportions, at the right time. Here is the formula. In a large glass or shaker, combine 8 ounces of beetroot juice, 6 ounces of fresh watermelon juice, and 4 ounces of pure pomegranate juice. That gives you an 18-ounce drink that activates 3 distinct biological pathways simultaneously, each one reinforcing the others. The beetroot initiates the nitric oxide cascade. The watermelon supplies citrulline to sustain and amplify it. The pomegranate's antioxidants extend the window during which that nitric oxide remains active and effective. Together, these 3 ingredients create a chain reaction in your bloodstream. Men who use this combination regularly describe the effect as a warm, steady, grounded sense of energy. Not jittery, not artificially stimulated. Alive, charged from within. Drink it approximately 1 hour before intimacy for peak effect. If you use it several times per week consistently, your baseline circulation will continue to improve between sessions. You will notice better energy during the day, faster physical recovery, and a sharper sense of mental presence. Men have told me that it feels like rediscovering a version of themselves they believed was no longer accessible. The most important thing I want you to hear is this. You do not have to wait weeks to begin noticing the effects. They begin within hours. And the longer you build this into your routine, the stronger and more reliable those effects become. Making it a daily practice here is something that most men overlook entirely. These drinks do not just produce a one-time effect. They train your body to perform better every single day when used consistently. Nitric oxide is not a single chemical event. It is part of your body's long-term vascular communication system. When you supply your blood vessels with the compounds they need on a regular basis, they adapt. They begin producing nitric oxide more efficiently on their own. They become more flexible. They stay open longer as a default. That means your baseline circulation improves even on days when you are not preparing for intimacy. You will wake up with more energy. You will recover faster after physical activity. Your hands and feet will remain warmer because blood is circulating more freely to the extremities. Research has shown that men who consume beetroot or pomegranate juice daily over several weeks develop measurably stronger and more responsive vascular function. Blood pressure stabilizes, stamina increases. Confidence returns not as a temporary boost, but as a new foundation. Think of it as compounding interest for your cardiovascular system. Every glass you drink builds on the one before it. You are not just preparing for tonight, you are rebuilding the infrastructure for the years ahead. Here is the daily routine I recommend to my patients. In the morning, drink a small glass of pomegranate juice, around 8 ounces. That establishes the endothelial health baseline for the entire day. In the afternoon, add a beetroot shot or a small watermelon smoothie to keep nitric oxide levels elevated, vessels open, and circulation active. Then, when you anticipate intimacy later that day, bring in the full triple booster formula. Because at that point, your body is not starting from zero. It is already primed and responsive. Men who follow this consistently report that they stop dreading performance moments and start engaging with them. That psychological shift is not a side effect. It is part of the physiological restoration. Drink 4, Tart cherry juice. Recovery A&D repair now. I want to introduce 2 additional allies that most men never consider. The first is Tart cherry juice. This deeply pigmented juice is rich in antioxidants called anthocyanins, which fight vascular inflammation, repair the lining of blood vessels, and help arteries maintain their flexibility over time. But there is a less obvious benefit that I find particularly compelling clinically. Tart cherry juice is one of the most bioavailable natural sources of melatonin. Most men associate melatonin exclusively with sleep, but melatonin also functions as a vascular protector. It supports the repair of the endothelium overnight, the critical inner lining of the arteries that controls nitric oxide signaling. It also helps protect nitric oxide from oxidative degradation during sleep. This means that a small glass of Tart cherry juice a few hours before bed is not just a sleep aid, It is preparing your vascular system to perform better the following day. You are recovering and rebuilding your circulation while you rest. Drink 5, green tea, Focus A&D Calm, the fifth drink, works through a different mechanism entirely, and it is particularly relevant for men who find that mental tension undermines their physical performance. Green tea contains a compound called EGCG, a potent antioxidant that protects the enzyme responsible for producing nitric oxide from oxidative damage. That means the nitric oxide your body is already generating stays functional longer and works more effectively. Green tea also contains an amino acid called L-theanine. L-theanine promotes a state of calm alertness without sedation. When combined with the moderate natural caffeine in green tea, it creates focused relaxation. Clear-headed, grounded, present, that is exactly the mental state that supports confident performance. Distracted, anxious men do not perform well, no matter what their circulation looks like. Green tea addresses both sides of that equation. To combine these two benefits, brew 2 strong cups of green tea, allow them to cool, and mix with 8 ounces of pure pomegranate juice over ice. This creates what I refer to as the endothelial health blend, a drink that supports arterial function, sustains nitric oxide levels, and brings your mind into the calm, focused state that confident intimacy requires. The role of hydration before you put any of these drinks to work. There is one foundational rule that cannot be skipped. None of this produces its full effect if you are chronically dehydrated. Think of blood as water moving through a hose. If there is not enough volume behind it, even the widest vessel delivers nothing. When your fluid intake is low, blood volume drops. And when blood volume drops, circulation, energy, and firmness all suffer before any other variable even enters the picture. The fix is straightforward. In the 2 to 3 hours before intimacy, drink 16 to 24 ounces of plain water. Not immediately before, but a few hours ahead. That gives your body time to absorb it, restore circulating volume, and prepare your system to respond. When you then consume your nitric oxide booster, your blood has both the volume and the pressure to deliver the effect you are looking for. One practical note on temperature. If you drink juice that is very cold, your body responds with a brief constriction of peripheral blood vessels. That is a counterproductive reflex for our purposes. Keep your drinks at room temperature or only slightly cool. Room temperature maintains arterial relaxation. Cold can briefly work against it. And timing, as I have said throughout matters, most of these drinks perform best when consumed approximately 60 minutes before activity. That is when nitric oxide peaks in your bloodstream. But individual response times vary. Some men find their window is closer to 45 minutes. Others find 90 minutes works better. Experiment with your own body. Pay attention to the feedback. Find your optimal timing and build it into your routine. Also maintain appropriate volume. 8 to 16 ounces of beetroot juice. 8 to 10 ounces of pomegranate, 12 to 16 ounces of watermelon. More than these amounts does not increase the benefit. It simply adds unnecessary sugar and caloric load. Precision matters more than volume here. Bringing it all together, let me bring everything together now, because what we have discussed today is not simply a protocol for one evening. It is a framework for reclaiming something fundamental. Your circulation, your confidence, your biological capacity to perform at a level you may have believed was no longer available to you. Here is the reality that 20 years of clinical work has made clear to me. Your body still has the capacity to perform the way it did years ago. You have to give it what it needs to express that capacity. When you supply it with the right compounds, beetroot for nitric oxide activation, pomegranate for protection, watermelon for sustained fuel, tart cherry for overnight recovery and repair, and green tea for focused vascular and mental performance, you are rebuilding the system that drives your energy, your strength, and your confidence. Start with this. 1 hour before intimacy, drink the triple nitric oxide booster. 8 ounces of beetroot, 6 ounces of watermelon, 4 ounces of pomegranate. Drink it at room temperature. Stay well hydrated in the hours beforehand. Give your body time to respond. You will feel warmth. You will feel energy moving through you. You will feel a quality of aliveness that you may not have experienced in some time. And if you make this a consistent habit, a small glass of pomegranate in the morning, beetroot or watermelon in the afternoon, Tart cherry before bed, you will begin to notice that the changes are no longer temporary. Your circulation improves as a baseline. Your energy returns. Your confidence stops being something you have to manufacture and starts being something you simply carry. Men who follow this kind of routine consistently tell me something that I find meaningful. They stop worrying about performance. They start being present during intimacy instead of managing anxiety about it. That is the real power behind what these natural drinks do. They do not just support your body. They give you back a version of yourself that you recognized and respected. So here is what I want you to do. Try the 1-hour ritual this week. Just once. Then pay attention. Notice what shifts. Comment below and tell me what you experienced. Better energy, improved blood flow, a return of confidence. Whatever you notice, I want to hear it. I read every comment personally, and I address the questions that come up most frequently in future videos. If this content gave you something useful, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another man who deserves to feel strong again. Because your best years are not in the past. They are waiting for you to rebuild the foundation that makes them possible. I am Dr. Daniel Morgan. In our next video, I will walk you through a bedtime habit that can naturally optimize your testosterone without a single supplement. Stay tuned, take care of your body, and I will see you there.